Hi, everybody, and welcome to Teaching Tip Tuesday, brought to you by the Center for Inclusive Teaching and Learning here at UWSP. This week, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about when and how to incorporate digital technology in your course. One thing has always been true of new technologies, and that's that they're seductive. They're shiny and new and cool, and sometimes we rush into using them in our courses without putting enough thought into the decisions that we're making about their adoption. The truth is, we should use a new technology not because it's cool, but because it's useful. So let's take a beat and think for a minute about when and why to incorporate digital technology in our teaching. It's important to remember that teaching technology is a means to an end, not an end in itself. The teaching and learning environment is highly complex, and the success of instruction is limited more by the relationships between the instructor and learner than it is technology. If you wanted to discuss the quality of an item of furniture, you wouldn't start by asking about the specific type and size of hammer used, or whether it was crafted with hand tools or electric tools. Likewise, in your conversations about instruction, you shouldn't begin and end with a focus on technology. Technology is a means to an end. And remember, high tech isn't always better. As an instructor, your goal should be to go beyond the integration of technology for its own sake to improved pedagogy and learning. The integration of technology is always associated with both costs and benefits. So begin by asking yourself some questions. First, what is it you hope to achieve by using this technology? Is it easier for students? Does it add function? Will it increase accessibility? Or are you just enamored by the novelty of the technology? Ask yourself if using the technology is the best platform for facilitating student achievement of learning outcomes. Then, consider what the learning curve for students is when they begin using this new technology. Are you unnecessarily adding to their cognitive load? If the learning curve is very steep, using the technology in question may take the student's attention away from discipline-specific learning outcomes, which could be disadvantageous. Consider how much class time you're going to need to take in order to get this new technology to work for your students. Based on credit hours, there is a finite amount of time available in and out of class for a course. What other content or learning outcomes will you have to give up in order to bring students up to speed on the technology? K-12 education, more than higher ed, has focused on models for technology integration in teaching. One that's especially helpful is the PICRAT model of Kimmins et al. This model considers the effect of technology implementation on both learners and instructors. It provides guidance on evaluating how to meaningfully integrate technology in the protean landscape of education. The PICRAT model characterizes the learner experience with the technology as falling into one of three categories. It may be passive, as a means of receiving content. It may be interactive, allowing learners to engage in exploration, experimentation, collaboration, or some other active learning. Or it may be creative, allowing students to produce artifacts that allow for application or integration of multiple understandings, reaching the higher levels of learning associated with Bloom's taxonomy. The rest of the model is associated with how technology impacts instructor pedagogy. Replacement simply means the technology offers a different means of doing the same thing, like the use of Zoom to deliver a lecture. Amplification means that there are added features of the technology that improve the learning practices, engagement, or outcomes, as we see in using instructor feedback in Canvas to provide immediate responses to the students, or the use of online modeling simulations to explore the effects of variable manipulation. These don't radically change pedagogy, but they improve teaching practice. Finally, technology can be transformational, allowing learning experiences that were not possible without the technology. This includes things like web publication of student research or production of video or multimedia content. When combined, the learner and instructor experiences with a given use of technology form a matrix that can be used to evaluate the overall impact of technology integration. Remembering that passive student engagement is not very educationally efficacious, and that simple replacement of high-tech for low-tech may not be worth the trouble, it becomes clear that the most impactful use of technologies in your teaching are those that increase student interaction with one another or with material, or allow them to create, and those which amplify pedagogical considerations or are transformational. As you make decisions about when to incorporate new digital technologies in your teaching, remember that digital tech is just another educational tool. Wise use only results from careful evaluation of how the technology affects both the learner and the instructor. And that's this week's teaching tip, brought to you by the Center for Inclusive Teaching and Learning here at UWSP. Remember that at CITL, we offer support for course design, learning activities, assessment, and pedagogy. Visit our website to schedule a consult today.